Hey everyone, welcome back to my advice channel. It's probably the most excited you've ever seen me be. I'm so excited to be making this video because I have talked about this a number of times, and every time I do, it really moves people. People are like, oh my God, you have to make a video about this, or like you have to elaborate on this. I'm talking today about self-trust. Self-trust is one of the most critical steps to not caring about what people think about you, and that's really confidence. Talk about self-trust and how to stop caring what people think about you. So I want the thesis of this video to be, you stop caring what people think about you by not caring what people think about you. And you're gonna be like, wait, what? That's such like a red herring. That is circular reasoning at its finest. We're gonna come back to this, but I want you to hold that in your mind because it's going to make so much sense in the end. Okay, so here's how I'm gonna talk about self-trust. I'm gonna start with the why, like what is self-trust and why is it important? And then I'm gonna talk about the how. Like I want you to, the minute you stop watching this video, I need you to change some habits in your life if you want to stop caring what people think about you and trust yourself more. I've alluded to them in my videos, but I don't think I've ever really talked about it. Over the past year, I started doing like one-on-one coaching sessions, but it's not really coaching. It's like, people call me for clarity. That makes me sound like I'm a psychic. I'm not a psychic. Although people are very predictable, but I'm not a psychic. So here's how we're gonna start. I'm gonna start with you guys the same way that I start with people I coach. I'm gonna ask you a question, and then I'm gonna count to 5 in my head, and I want you, if you're alone, I want you to answer it out loud, and if you're like at work or something and you're listening on your headphones, you can just answer it to yourself, and you're gonna have to hold yourself accountable, and you're gonna have to be honest with you. Are you ready? Do you trust yourself? Okay, so I bet I can guess every single answer of every single person watching. You either said a resolute yes, probably not. I've never gotten a resolute yes. Never, not one time in a single phone call have I had anybody go, hell yes, I trust myself, ever. Or you were like, or you just paused, or you, what's the other one where people tell me, I trust myself at work, but I don't trust myself in personal relationships. So if you gave me any answer besides a yes, like a yes with vigor immediately, then you don't trust yourself. What is self-trust and what does self-trust feel like? Self-trust is when you trust yourself and the decisions that you make for your life. That you feel like you don't have to survey people, and every time you make a decision, whether it's like in your friendships, in your personal relationships, what are you wearing tonight? You don't have to ask a tribunal of people. That's what self-trust feels like, where like you can make a decision and you're like, that's it, I'm committed and I don't need everybody's opinion. Why is it important? It's important because you have spent your entire life asking for permission and seeking validation. Everything from like how you were raised by your parents, by guardians, and the school system. You even had to ask permission to go to the bathroom. Like you spent your entire life like, can I go to the bathroom? Can I buy this? Can I buy that? And then seeking validation all the way from kindergarten with like the shiny little gold star, like you're such a good kid, good job, to your parents putting, you know, anytime you got an A+ on a paper or a test, like let's put it on a fridge. The problem is, it's not like when you graduate college and you're like, okay, now you're officially an adult. No one tells you like, okay, you can stop asking for permission to live, and you can also stop seeking validation for everything that you do. So unfortunately, we build those habits, they're completely ingrained in us, and then we carry on into adulthood and we're still doing it. We're still asking for permission to be ourselves, and we're still seeking validation. Please give me a pat on the back for every little thing I do. Now, I just want to put out this disclaimer because I know, well, you guys are really good about this. This is not to say like, don't seek an expert opinion if it's like a medical issue or you're reviewing a contract and you're not an attorney. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about living your best life, like deciding like, what do I want to do with my life, and how do I want to manage my personal relationships, and should I date this person or not, or should I stay in this relationship or not? Really building a life that is your own. Let me show you an equation and why it's dangerous to always ask for people's opinions. When you ask people for their opinions, the equation looks just like this. Class is officially in session. This is like the opinion equation. You're getting their fears and insecurities plus their values plus their experiences equals their opinion. My question to you is, where are you? This is like a mathematics class. Like find X, no, find you. You are not in this equation. Okay? There's a whole other separate video that needs to happen so that when somebody asks you for an opinion, you're not giving them this opinion. And you have to understand that people don't do this because that's their intent. It's because people don't know any better, right? Like if you ask, I'm an immigrant. Yeah, my parents are immigrants to this country. So when I talk to my parents about career, their number one priority is financial security because they didn't have that, right? Like when we came to this country, they didn't have that. So when I talk to them about opportunities, they're always like, well, what's the safest? And I don't care about safe. I'm not afraid of what my parents are afraid of. So that's why the opinion equation is so dangerous, and that's why it's dangerous to always go to people, no matter how much they love and care about you, and ask for their opinion on things, because the truth of the matter is you have all the information to make the best decision for yourself. And on top of that, people are so terrified of making a bad decision. Let me tell you something. You need to make a couple bad decisions to build your confidence, because here's what happens. When you make all the decisions in your life that dictate your life like that, this is my life. I created it. I made these decisions. There is nothing more powerful in the entire world than feeling like I did this. It's even more powerful if you end up in maybe a place in life you don't want to be, and to look around and to say, I'm responsible for this, and because I did this, I can undo this. That's true personal power. Real joy and happiness comes from like honoring your individuality and making decisions for yourself, because I know you have the answers. And when you call people and you say like, what should I do? You're really looking for people, like you've made a decision in your head, you know what you want, and you're just looking for people to back that up, because for some reason that makes it more okay. Unfortunately, that's not always what happens. Sometimes people will plant a seed in your head that makes you doubt yourself, and it's like, you should have just trusted yourself. Make your own decisions. Don't be afraid to fail. There's really no such thing as a bad decision. But in the case that like you happen to make a bad decision, I don't really think those exist. It is entirely up to you how you learn from whatever happens. You make it a part of your story. So that's the danger in asking for an opinion, is that if you have always sought the opinion of other people in your life about what you should be doing with your life, you are not living a life that belongs to you. You're not living your best life, and you probably feel claustrophobic about it. Like it's probably showing up in many different ways, whether it's like having bad friendships, bad relationships, you hate your job, you hate your career, you're resentful towards your parents because you feel like they made you do whatever it is you're doing. The problem with other people's opinions is oftentimes they are unsolicited, and we will talk about that in just a second. So the first thing that I want you to stop doing is I want you to stop asking everybody for what you should be doing with your life. So that means if you have a girls' night, you don't need to text everybody and ask what they're wearing, or you don't need to take a picture of you in your whatever outfit and ask if it's okay. You need to pick out what you're going to wear, and you need to understand that even if you show up in a prom dress at happy hour, you don't care. Like it doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't, in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter. Rarely is there going to be a time where you're going to be severely underdressed or overdressed. Just remember that. So stop seeking permission. Can I wear this? Or seeking validation. Is this good enough? You are good enough. What you're wearing is probably fine. When you start dating somebody new, we all do this, right? Like we take a screenshot and send it to the group chat, or send it to the best friend. Like, can you believe he just said that? Or what does that mean? Stop. Stop. Trust yourself. When you break up with somebody, you text everybody. You text your best friends, whatever. Like, oh, I broke up with so-and-so, and what are you waiting for? You don't know what you're waiting for. I'm going to tell you what you're waiting for, and you're going to have a new awareness. You're waiting for the pat on the back. Like, you're waiting for the friend to be like, oh yeah, he was such a jerk. I'm so glad you broke up with him. So that you can feel like, I did the right thing. You know you did the right thing. Like, if you are at a healthy level of emotional intelligence, and you know what you want out of life, why do you need people to tell you you made the right decision? It's not CNN, you don't need to broadcast it to the whole world. Do the work necessary so that when you make these decisions, you can feel comfortable about them. That's the first step. So if you are choosing a career, if you are switching careers, trust me that when you call up certain people, they're not looking out for you, and it's not because they're evil, it's because they don't know any better. But remember, like, everything has to go through your own filter. And I want to say that, like, it's not, you shouldn't stop asking for opinions. Like, there are definitely going to be times where you're going to be like, you know what, I want this person's opinion. And this is like the advanced ninja level-ish. Developing a filter that everything that is said to you, sometimes people give their opinion and it's very sneaky, and we'll talk about that. But developing a filter of, is this of any value to me? Why is this person giving me this kind of advice? Do they have the information that I have? Do they have more information than I have? And you decide how you digest everything that comes your way, because unsolicited opinions or things that affect you happen on a very macro level. So think like societal, and like people blame a lot social media, but before social media, it was like magazines and celebrities and TV shows and movies and like the standards of what people want you to be. On a micro level, that happens. People give you their opinions all the time. People give us their opinions and they're in disguise. And it's either I love and care about you, so I'm just like being blunt and honest and telling it like it is, which like to me, is you're just annoying. Or people ask you in the form of a question, but really it can be more damaging than they realize. For example, when you're like at a family Christmas and you're asked why you're single. Like, why do you care? The reason I use that example is because so many people are like, I'm so sick of being asked like why I'm single. And like people like try to make it like a compliment, like you're just so great, why are you single? But to the weak mind, you would hear that and then it would, it's like a seed is planted and you would think, okay, like why am I single? Like this person's right. And what you do by ruminating and thinking and overthinking is you water that seed and it's weeds and it's not what you want to grow in like your thought garden. Is that cheesy or cool? I can't decide. We'll revisit that. Here's the thing. If you weren't single, if you were in a relationship, the question would be, are you engaged? If you are engaged, it would be, when are you getting married? If you're married, when are you having kids? If you have kids, when are you gonna die? Someone is always rushing you to the finish line. It's like people who can't have meaningful conversations say stupid shit like that. Sorry, if you're one of those people, it's like, why are you single? Please find something more interesting to say. No one thinks that's a compliment, and no one wants to be bothered about getting married, getting engaged, having children, or buying a coffin. Can we just like leave people alone? Find something more interesting to say. That's why it's important for you to develop your filter, is because there's noise being thrown at you all the time, and it's your job to decide like, what is this person saying to me and why? Like, always consider the source, because that's going to give you a lot of information about why that person would say something like that. And then you decide like, maybe 50% of it works for you. Maybe the other 50% doesn't. Maybe somebody says something to you and you're like, wow, that's deeply profound and it applies to me and you get me and you're saying this for my own benefit. I want to digest all of that. It is entirely up to you. What will happen is you'll start to build your confidence little by little, and you will start to see like, okay, I do trust myself. Like, I am capable of making decisions for yourself. I'm telling you right now, here's a secret to life. You are capable of making decisions for yourself. You've just never done it. And it's almost like once you like take that first step, every other step becomes easier, but you have got to take the first step. And awareness, like I said, is 50% of it. The second thing is developing your filter. So I almost want you to start watching your life as a spectator, where when people say things to you, if you take them personally and your emotions take the pilot seat, you're not going to be able to rationalize through this. You're not going to be able to develop your filter. So when people say things to you, ask yourself some critical questions like, why would they say this to me? Where do their values lie? Like, what do I know about their experiences and the things that might make them say the things that they're saying to me? Take the advice, put it into action, believe that change is possible, and you will see the results. So do you guys remember the thesis of this video that I said in the beginning? How do you stop caring what people think? The answer is stop caring what people think. And it seemed like it was circular reasoning. Now you know that it's not, because you are constantly asking what people think. And that's why you care what they think. You care what they think. You're asking them like, should I date this person? And you care, and then you wonder why you care. Because everything in your life has shaped you to care about the things that don't matter. I want you to care, but I want you to care about the right things. I don't want you to care about the opinions of people that don't really understand you, get you, see your mission, see your path in life. I do not at all, I'm not a proponent of having an apathy to life. I think that's extremely dangerous because you should love life. And you begin to love life when you feel free and you feel like I created the life that I'm living. I truly hope that helps, and I hope that it has the impact on your life that it's had on mine. And remember, there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of people trying to plant seeds in your head. You decide which ones you want to water. Water the ones that serve you, that make you a better person. And it's not about saying like, screw everybody's opinion. That's not what this is about. This is about really, really deciding like, who is telling me what and why, and what do I do with that information? Instead of being passive about life, live your best life by deciding, what do I want out of life? What is best for me and what's going to make me happy? All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.